Chapter 1. When the lights go out. The room was quiet. The nightlight glowed softly in the corner. A gentle breeze from the open window made the curtains dance. Leo was fast asleep, his tiny fingers curled around his favorite teddy bear. Teddy didn't move. Not yet. He waited, listened. The house was still, completely still. Then, pop! Teddy's button eyes blinked open. His fluffy arms stretched up toward the ceiling. "Oh, my stuffing! I've been lying still forever," he whispered, rolling onto his paws. All around the room, the other stuffed animals started to wake up, too. Bubbles, the elephant, let out a big squeaky yawn. Mittens, the cat, stretched her fuzzy legs. Hop the bunny did 3 tiny hops in place. From the bookshelf, a wise old owl named Oliver fluffed his wings. He adjusted his tiny glasses and cleared his throat. "Another night. Another mission," he said, his voice calm and knowing. "Stuffed animals, awaken." And just like that, the bedroom came to life. Teddy looked around, amazed. It was his first night being part of the stuffed animal crew. "I have so many questions," Teddy whispered excitedly. "Do we fight monsters? Do we ride on toy trains? Do we have secret meetings under the bed?" Oliver chuckled. "Patience, young bear. Our job is to keep the room safe and solve any nighttime mysteries." "Mysteries?" Teddy's round ears perked up. "Ooh, I love mysteries." Just then, something caught his eye, something strange. Leo's blanket was bunched up near his feet, and peeking out from underneath was a single sock. Only one. Teddy gasped. Uh-oh, something's missing." The animals all turned to look. "Leo always wears 2 socks to bed," Teddy said, pacing back and forth. "Always, but tonight, 1 sock is missing. Dun dun dun." Bubbles wiggled her trunk. "Ooh, a mystery already." Oliver nodded. "A missing sock, you say? That could be very important." Mittens flicked her tail. "Maybe the sock just ran away." "Wait, socks can run?" Teddy's eyes widened. Mittens smirked. "Well, not really, but they do go missing a lot." Hop wiggled his nose. "What if the sock was taken?" Teddy gasped. Bubbles gasped. Mittens gasped, but only a little. She was too cool for full gasps. "The lucky bedtime sock," Teddy whispered. "Without it, Leo might have bad dreams." Oliver adjusted his glasses. "Then it seems we have a mission." Teddy puffed out his fluffy chest. This was his moment. His first big adventure. "Team," he declared. "We have to find that sock before morning. Who's with me?" Bubbles raised her trunk. "Me." Hop bounced. "Me." Mittens sighed, pretending not to care. Then she purred. "Fine, I'll come too." Oliver nodded wisely. "Then let the quest begin." Teddy grinned. His heart buzzed with excitement. Tonight, he wasn't just any teddy bear. Tonight, he was a stuffed animal detective, and the adventure was just beginning. Chapter 2. The Missing Sock Mystery begins. Teddy took a deep breath and stood tall. Well, as tall as a small teddy bear could stand. "The sock is missing," he said, pacing in front of his team. "But where did it go? Who took it? And most importantly," he turned dramatically, "does it have a secret?" Bubbles the elephant gasped. "Ooh, a sock secret." Mittens flicked her tail. "Or maybe it just fell off." Teddy shook his head. "No way. Socks don't just disappear. It's gotta be somewhere, and we're gonna find it before Leo wakes up." Oliver the owl nodded. "A fine plan, but where shall we begin, young detective?" Teddy tapped his fuzzy chin. Socks live on feet, right?" "Right," said Hop the bunny. "So if it's not on Leo's foot," Teddy continued, "then it must have fallen off and rolled away." Bubbles wiggled her trunk. "Socks do like to roll." Mittens stretched lazily. "So what you're saying is we need to check the floor." Teddy's eyes sparkled. "Yes, to the floor!" One by one, the stuffed animals climbed down from the bed, some more gracefully than others. Mittens landed on her paws, without a sound. Hop bounced down like a fluffy little acrobat. Bubbles, however, rolled off the bed like a giant fluffy snowball. "Wah!" she squeaked. "Bounce!" She landed right on her bottom. Teddy tumbled after her, landing face first into the carpet. He popped up, brushing off his fur. "I meant to do that." Mittens smirked. "Sure you did." Oliver glided down with a single flap of his wings. "Now then," he said, adjusting his tiny glasses, "let's begin the search." The animals spread out across the floor, checking under pillows, behind stuffed animals, and even inside Leo's slippers. Nothing. "No sock here," Hop called. "Not in the toy box," Bubbles reported. I got dust on my paws," Mittens grumbled. Just then, a tiny, squeaky voice giggled from under the bed. "Hee hee hee, looking for something?" Teddy's ears perked up. He tiptoed closer, squinting into the shadows. And then, poof! A tiny puff of dust scurried out from under the bed. Then another, and another. A whole group of tiny, fuzzy dust bunnies. They blinked their beady little eyes at Teddy. "Whoa," Teddy whispered. "Are you guys alive?" One dust bunny giggled. "Are you alive?" Teddy gasped. "Touch!" Mittens rolled her eyes. "Okay, dust balls. We're looking for a missing sock. Have you seen it?" The dust bunnies huddled together, whispering. Then the biggest one piped up. "Oh, yes, we saw a sock. It came floating down here like a ghost." "Ooh," Teddy gulped. "A ghost sock?" The dust bunnies nodded. Hop shivered. "That's kind of spooky." Bubbles blinked. "Socks don't turn into ghosts, do they?" Oliver fluffed his feathers. "Nonsense. Socks do not haunt bedrooms." The dust bunnies giggled. "Maybe not, but your sock did roll under the bookshelf." Teddy gasped. "The bookshelf, of course. We have to check it right away." The dust bunnies cheered as the stuffed animals raced toward the bookshelf. As Teddy ran, his little heart thumped with excitement. They were getting closer. The missing sock was almost found. But was there really a secret inside? He was about to find out. Chapter 3. A Nighttime Adventure Through the Bedroom. Teddy and his friends stared up at the bookshelf. It was tall, very tall. To a stuffed animal, it looked like a giant mountain made of wood and bedtime stories. "The sock is under there," Teddy said, narrowing his button eyes. "We just have to—" Whoosh! A sudden gust of air sent a loose piece of paper floating off the shelf. It swirled through the air like a sleepy little ghost. Bubbles squeaked and covered her eyes. "The sock really is haunted." Hop shivered. "Maybe it's trying to send us a message." Mittens batted at the paper with her paw until it gently floated to the floor. She peeked at it, then rolled her eyes. "It's just an old drawing." Teddy picked it up. It was a picture, drawn in crayon, a teddy bear, and a little boy, Leo. Teddy's tiny heart did a happy flip. Leo had drawn him. "Whoa," Teddy whispered. "He really loves me." Oliver nodded wisely. "Stuffed animals hold memories, young bear, just like this drawing." Teddy held the picture close. He suddenly wanted to hug Leo right now. But first, the sock. He turned back to the bookshelf. "All right, team, we have to get under there and grab that sock." Bubbles wiggled her trunk. "It looks kinda dark under there." Hop gulped. "And dusty." Mittens stretched, and probably full of old snack crumbs. Teddy grinned. "Then it's a good thing we're brave." Oliver puffed his feathers. "And wise." Bubbles lifted her trunk. "And strong." Hop wiggled his ears. "And adorable." The team squeezed under the bookshelf, wriggling, scooting, sneezing from the dust. "Ah! Ah! Choo!" Teddy sneezed so hard he bonked his head on the shelf. "You okay down there, Detective Fluffy?" Mittens teased. Teddy sniffled. "I'm fine, just allergic to adventure." And then they saw it. The sock, crumpled and squished behind an old puzzle box. Hop gasped. "We found it!" Bubbles cheered quietly. Mittens flicked her tail in satisfaction. Teddy grabbed the sock and gave it a shake. "Mission complete. Let's get this back to—" But then something fell out of the sock. A tiny, crumpled piece of paper. The stuffed animals froze. Teddy picked it up and carefully unfolded it. His eyes widened. Leo's name was written on it. This sock wasn't just a sock. It had a secret. Chapter 4. The Sock's Secret and a Big Surprise. Teddy held the tiny, crumpled piece of paper in his paws. It had Leo's name written on it in wobbly, kid-sized letters. "What is it?" Bubbles asked, peeking over his shoulder. Teddy carefully unfolded the paper. It was an old, slightly wrinkled drawing, a teddy bear, and a little boy. Hop's ears wiggled. "Hey, that looks like you, Teddy." Teddy's button eyes blinked. It was him. The same round ears, the same soft belly. Oliver the owl nodded. "This is no ordinary sock, my friends. This sock holds a memory." Teddy felt warm inside. He wasn't just Leo's bedtime bear. He was special. Mittens flicked her tail. "Okay, great. A heartwarming discovery. But what does this mean?" "It means," Oliver said, "this sock is more than just a piece of clothing. It's a piece of love." Bubbles' trunk wiggled. "Love is squishy?" Teddy chuckled. "No, Bubbles. Love is remembering someone even when they're not next to you." Bubbles nodded, very seriously. "Oh, got it." Hop tilted his head. "So why was the picture inside the sock?" Teddy thought for a moment. Then his fuzzy ears perked up. "Because Leo wanted to keep it safe," he said. "And where's the safest place? A sock!" Mittens raised an eyebrow. "I mean, I'd probably choose a treasure chest, but sure, socks are fine." Teddy hugged the picture close. Leo had drawn this long ago, maybe when he was even smaller, and that meant Leo must have forgotten it was in there. "We have to put it back," Teddy said firmly. "The sock and the picture. just like we found them. Hop nodded. So when he wakes up, it'll still be there, Oliver smiled. Now you're thinking like a true stuffed guardian, Teddy grinned. His heart felt bigger than ever. All right, team, he said, puffing out his chest. Let's get this sock back before morning. And with that, the stuffed animals raced back toward the bed, the sock safely tucked under Teddy's paw. They had solved the mystery. But the adventure wasn't over yet. Chapter 5. Back to bed before morning. The stuffed animals hurried across the room, careful not to trip over toys or step on crinkly paper. The sky outside the window was getting lighter. Morning was coming. We have to move fast, Teddy whispered, gripping the sock tightly. Bubbles panted. I am not built for speed. Hop bounced ahead. Almost there. As they reached the bed, Oliver landed gracefully on Leo's pillow. Remember, he said, everything must be exactly how we found it. Teddy nodded. He climbed up the blankets and tiptoed carefully to Leo's foot. He gently tucked the sock under the blanket right near Leo's toes. Then he slipped the tiny drawing back inside. Everything was just right. Teddy smiled. Mission complete. Quick, Mittens whispered. Everybody back to position. The animals scattered. Bubbles plopped onto her usual spot. Hop flopped onto his side and stayed very still. Mittens stretched one last time before curling up exactly how she was before. Teddy snuggled back into Leo's arms. The sky outside turned soft and golden. The first rays of sunlight peeked through the window. The room was still, completely still. Leo stirred in his sleep. His fingers twitched. Then they curled around Teddy, just a little tighter. Teddy's heart felt warm and safe. Leo still loved him. Leo always would. As the morning sun filled the room, Teddy's button eyes closed. The stuffed animals were still, silent, waiting for the next bedtime, when the lights would go out again and the secret life of stuffed animals would begin once more.